Hey guys, Charlotte here, and this is the Poke Crossings channel, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be having a look at what limitations there are to the map and things you need to bear in mind for when you are starting the game, because these are things that you're not going to be able to change no matter how far you progress through the game. So for things like terraforming and things like that, you cannot change these sections. So I'm going to go through them with you, and just looking at the map, guys, you can see there's a few different things that stand out. So we've got, obviously you can see all the houses and stuff on there. You can change all of these. You can change all the locations of the houses and the shops. The one thing that you cannot change throughout the entire game is resident services. So when you first log into the game, guys, and it'll give you a chance of 4 maps. And residential services, you can see mine's flashing there. That is one thing that you cannot change. And when you get to kind of this point in the game, this is what it looks like. So it's got like a nice big brick outlay, it's got the street lamps on it already, it's got the flag. And this is where the vendors like Leaf and Kicks and people like that come and stand. Now you can see this isn't just because I've chosen 2 different paths here. This is how it fits together. Like, you cannot actually link a path to this area here, so you've got to get a little bit creative with how you kind of work this into your design. You also cannot place anything. So this is what it looks like, so you need to bear that in mind when you are first picking your island. The next thing, guys, that we cannot move is the position of the river mouths, which are here. So the point that the river meets the ocean, you cannot terraform or move this. And you can actually see, if I bring the camera up like that, there's some rocks in the water. That's like your kind of limit to terraforming. So everything over here you can terraform, and I've actually terraformed this part here. But as soon as you start to get to here where these rocks are, you cannot move that, and you cannot move any of this here. So again, bear it in mind. You can see on my map, I've got 1 river mouth to the south and 1 to the east. When you get a chance to pick your map, there is options where you've both river mouths go to the bottom, to the south, or 1 at the bottom, 1 at the east, or 1 at the bottom, 1 at the west. But whereabouts on the map those will come out at does vary. It goes kind of up or down the map, but you cannot change them. So make sure you're kind of relatively happy. What the river does everywhere else you can change, but those 2 points of the river you cannot. Okay, this is a second building, and this is the only other building that you cannot move, and this is the airport. You cannot move it, and you also can't change the colour of it. Everybody has, I think there's 4 or 5 different coloured airports. So the colour and location of your airport is usually always at the bottom centre, I think, but it's definitely at the bottom of the map anyway. But you can't change it, and you can't change the colour of it. So again, what you get at the start of the game, if you're dead fussy over what colour you want this to be, you're going to have to do a few soft resets to get that. But what you get, you can't change. So just bear that in mind. So the next thing we are going to move on to, and I'm just going to run right across here, is the location of the pier. Now the pier is really important because you can only catch certain fish off the pier. So things like the tuna and the blue marlin you can only catch off the end of the pier. And where this pier is, again, it varies on each map. It can be either on the east or the west of the island, and it could be anywhere along that coastline. So again, just make sure you're happy with the location of it before you start playing, or before you select your map. This is something you cannot change, cannot move. I mean, I wasn't really that bothered about it, but some people are, so yeah, just bear that in mind. And then you can see as we're walking along the beach, you've got these rocks that are sticking out here. So there's like 1 here. There's this one here that's a bit bigger that you can actually like walk on. and then there's another one over here, and you have the same on the east of the island as well. The shapes and size of these, or location of these, again, you cannot change. So it's really worth, again, if it's something you're dead bothered about, just make sure you check it out before you start. This one's a little bit more like elongated, and then the one at the other side of the island is a bit more rounded and a bit more enclosed, and I actually prefer the one on the other side of the island. Let me show you. Just because it gives it a bit more of a enclosed feel, and it actually makes a sitting area actually really nice. Nice like sitting area. So if I jump across here, so you can see over here, this one's like a bit more enclosed, a bit more rounded off, and I've made like this little seating area, and I prefer the shape of that one to the one on the other side. But again, if you're not bothered, just leave it as it is, because it's going to be very hard to get absolutely everything you want from a map. So if it's something you're not too fussed about, leave it. But that edge I definitely prefer more than the other side, but you can't change the location. In terms of the beaches, you can't change like the line of the sand or anything like that. You can change all of the grass, like the shape of the river in the grass. You can terraform the cliffs and everything like that, but you cannot alter the actual line of the sand, or where the grass meets the sand, and how deep or wide the beach is. Now, the final thing you need to be aware of is this little beach here. Every single island will have a secret beach at the north of the island. Again, where this is will vary along that coastline, but you cannot change the location, the shape, the size. You can't do anything. You can put furniture down, but you can't do anything to change the appearance or location of it. It is an important location because this is where Red docks with his ship in order to sell you art. Most of the time it's fake or haunted, but this is where he ships to sell you it. So it's important that you have access to it. So just bear that in mind. Again, if it's something you've got an idea for in your head, just make sure you've got the space for it, or it's in a location where you'll be able to make the space. I use it as my little private beach from my house, but I've done nothing with my house area. So they're the main things to recap. They're the main things to be aware of when you are starting. They're the limitations of the map. So just to recap, if I bring my map up, you have got the airport location, you've got the town hall location, the location of the river mouths, the shape of the beach line and the rocks, as well as the grassy area that sticks out, and then finally the pier. That's the last one that you cannot change when you are get to the point of terraforming. Everything else you can change. You can have a fourth layer of cliffs, but you can't put anything on it. It's just there kind of for view, really. So that bit of land that I was telling you about, that's here. You can't change the location or shape of this bit. So yeah, they're the things you need to be really aware of, guys, when you are picking your map at the start. If you've got set ideas, I've seen a lot of people getting ready for them getting the game and they're super stoked, and they've got loads of ideas of how they're going to lay out their island, and some of them ideas are actually awesome. So just make sure that you get a map that's not going to limit you when you come to doing that later on. But everything else you've got full control of, guys. So I wasn't massively bothered. I was more bothered about where the river mouths of my map went, but I was pretty happy with that, and otherwise everything else I just left kind of random chance, if you like. So guys, hope I found that helpful. If you are starting your Animal Crossings now or shortly, good luck. It's going to be a wild ride, but you'll have a great time, I'm sure. So drop it in the comments if you found today's today's video useful, and if there's anything specific that you're going to especially be looking out for. I'd like to know what is the biggest kind of make or break for you when you're choosing your island layout to start out with. And as always, guys, please hit that subscribe button. Something like 96% of you while watching my videos are not subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it. It's free and it just helps with me growing my channel and being able to get my channel out there to more people. So hopefully guys, I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye!